So hello and welcome back to Go Again Gaming and the league that means absolutely nothing, Season 3 here on the channel. Bigger, better, it means even less. Doesn't really have the same ring to it if I'm not Irish. Anyway, I'm here today to do some casting. Wish Ian all the best well wishes in the comments as he gets over some illness. Yeah, he'll be back to do it very, very soon. And in the meantime, you're stuck with me. And the uploads have been a little bit haphazard over the course of round 3 because of this, but we're doing our best to just try and bring you some more day-to-day, the league that means nothing content. Please consider liking this video, subscribing, checking out the Patreon as well, because this is a lot of work. This league that means nothing consumes a lot of my free time, so go and help support over there, and yeah, keep it going. So yeah, today we've got Maxx versus Arakni. So this is the 2-0 bracket. So we've got Dylan Samuels on Arakni and Dave Kerr on Maxx. This is going to be an interesting one because Arakni likes to banish things. Assassin cards in general like to banish things. And Maxx, as we've seen Dave like to operate, is running the nitro mechanoid. So if Dylan can get rid of those nitro mechanoids via banishing them, it could spell a little bit of danger for Maxx as he tries to get into his nitro mechanoid suit. But before we go into the gameplay, let's hear a message from one of our sponsors. Another sponsor for the League That Means Nothing Season 3 is Az here, talking about Void Games out of Crewe in Cheshire. Tom, Big Boss Book Club on Twitter, does run this shop, and he's had some fantastic events so far. He's had Skirmish Season, of course, the ProQuest as well, that we streamed on Go Again Gaming. So just a fantastic shop that's got a lot going for it, and in the future it's going to have a lot more events as well, hopefully, going forward. So make sure you go and check them out when you can. Pop in the store. It's a great little shop. There might be some images or videos flashed up here for you, but thanks for Tom for sponsoring the League That Means Nothing Season 3 and being an advocate for just casually gaming in all forms of different systems and different tabletop games. So yeah, cheers Tom, and let's get on with the tournament. So here we go. Maxx, or Dave, has decided to go first this time, and Dylan, one of the best players I've seen on this hero, Arakni. TCG Talk, go and check out Dylan's content when you can over there. He loves to break down all things ninja and assassin. And we're going to see Dylan rep a different Arakni as time goes on with the Hunted release. This Arakni is actually going to morph into the marionette version, I believe, at some stage. So make sure you take note of that. But we are going to be starting with Dave, coming in with the dive through data, coming in for 4, boosting the Pulse Wave Harpoon away to give this go again. And if this hits, Dave does get to look at the top of his deck with the Opt mechanic, but it is going to be cleanly blocked with a Sink Below by Dylan. Yeah, he's not going to be able to opt. Dave doesn't like to opt anyway. You know, he's had a few dive through datas hit on previous games. He's just like, nah, CBA, don't want to opt. It's fine. But yeah, so that is fully blocked there. Does have go again, of course, so we are going to see some sort of follow-up, which is going to be a counter on the pistol. And then shoot the pistol. Oh, sorry, activate Maxx. Got confused there. To create a Hyperdriver token, because obviously he's boosted this turn. So just getting that Hyperdriver engine, no pun intended, active is absolutely key to Max's plan. And those, once they start building up, they can really give Maxx some gas, and obviously it fuels the nitro mechanoid as well, of course. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just going to Arsenal pass and pass over back to Dylan here, who's repping a fantastic Christmas Arakni map. I'm sure Dylan's going to have a lot of upgrades to consider after the Hunted gets released. And at this point, the Hunted would have probably come out now. Yeah, it would have done, because I'm recording this today, so I'm coming out today. So yeah, it's not out yet, but it will be very, very soon. But coming in with a Spider's Bite, coming in for 1. Obviously, if this hits, the next time they defend with 1 or more attack action cards this turn, those have a -1 while defending. So that's obviously good to note as well. Assassin's just full of different tips and tricks to make sure things go through. Tricksy hobbitses. We are going to see a block on that, but then we're going to follow up with an Eradicate, just coming in
for 4. He gets to look at the top card because of the Arakni trigger, and it is a gas up, which Dylan is choosing to leave on top, because I believe that's a yellow gas up as well that we saw there, so that would trigger the Eradicate. This is coming in for 4. One of those cards that will rip through your deck if it goes through, and Maxx kind of incentivized to block here, because if one of those cards is the combo cards, then we could be in a spot of bother here. But the Spider's Bite did not hit, so obviously the Eradicate is just coming in for the 4. There's no debuffs been applied as of right now, so Dave just has to find a 4 block. Maybe could lean on some armor here, but Dylan still has 2 cards in hand, and we have seen Dylan done some insane reaction speed things before, but we are going to block with the armor and the throttle to cleanly block 4. Does Dylan have some sort of response to get around this? And yes, he does. A yellow shred, just making that action card block absolutely useless. And now Dave is currently blocking for 1, taking 3, and banishing the top 3. Teclo Pounder, Gas Up, and a Maxx V. So I believe that's 1 yellow card. Yeah, 1 yellow card. So that means Dylan is going to get a silver from the Eradicate. So Dylan starting his silver train, Dave starting his hyperdriver train. And yeah, we're off to the races here. Dylan can obviously use that silver to buy back his equipment, like the Black Techs and the Mask of Perditions. The good thing to note about the Mask of Perdition and the Black Tech Whisperers is they are attack reaction speed and they cost nothing, so you always have that 2 reactions on board for things like the Bonds of Agony as well, and you've got the Flick Knives, and you know you've always got that Bonds of Agony active with this equipment suite, which is good to know. But this throttle coming in 4/6 with Go Again pitching a blue, blocking with CNC and a shred. Completely forgot those shreds block for 3. Oh, Assassin's going to be nuts going into the new metagame with the Hunted. That's a clean block. Dave just thinking about whether he wants to follow up, but he's going to use the Teclo Foundry Heart. Banish to top 2, which is a 0 to 60 and a Supercell. Go up to 3 resources. What can he do with those 3 resources? He's going to play a Hyperdriver. And then he's going to crank it, and then obviously with the 2 floating, going to activate Maxx as well, I imagine, to get another Hyperdriver in play. So, yep, just throwing a big attack, and then using these lines effectively to establish more Hyperdrivers is what Maxx is all about. Just trying to find that gassy engine as quickly as possible. That's over to Dylan's turn now, as Dave draws up. It's always fascinating watching Arakni, the original Arakni at least, especially with the Hunted right on the horizon. You forget that Arakni is still a hero that you can play. But we are coming in with a Slay the Scholars. That's obviously going to trigger the Arakni contract there. I completely missed what card was revealed off of the top because I was chatting to myself. Sorry about that. But it has been left on top from what I gathered there. Watch the game, Az, for goodness sake. It's early in the morning. I'm just trying to have a cup of tea. Lovely. Bit of ASMR there for you. But yeah, Slay the Scholars. Looking for non-attack action cards. Coming in for 4. Dave committing a Maxx V and the Hyper X3 to the block. So again, blocking for 4. But we do have the Shred again. Outrageous. Just taking away the defensive value of the Maxx V and then leaking another 3 damage. Damn. So Dave got banishing a Pulse Wave Harpoon as well. So not the non-attack action card that Dylan was looking for, but still a powerful card that he's taken away. And that's a good thing about all of these contract cards that banish things and what have you. You get to see what cards you're taking out of your opponent's deck with the Arakni trigger. So if you are trying to target cards rather than life totals and stuff, you can still hit the life total, of course, but if you're trying to target powerful pieces in the deck, Arakni is the one, Assassins are the one that can do that for you. You can take away their tools, essentially. But coming in with a 0 to 60, Obviously, all the hyperdrivers are going to tick down and give him some resources on the back end. Coming in for 4 with Go Again. Dylan's just going to say, yeah, I'm going to block this cleanly with a Persuasive Prognosis and a Mask of Perdition. So that's going to be fully blocked for 4. Dave does have a follow-up with 3 resources in the bank there from the hyperdrivers ticking down. And we've seen Dylan happy to, in previous rounds, block really effectively as well. So that's another thing that Dylan's very, very good at managing. We are seeing a outpace being played here. So 4 with Go Again, can't be blocked or defended by equipment. And obviously that's going to crank. The Fast and Furious was revealed off at the top there, so obviously we're going to be putting a steam counter on a hyperdriver we control. Yeah, the outpace is coming in for 4. Can't be defended by equipment. This does have Go Again as well, I believe. And that's been blocked by bombs. Looks like we're going to be leaking 1 there. And then following this up with a supercell where X equals 2. All right, so we get 2 steam counters on 2 hyperdrivers. That's all of them. And then we create a hyperdriver with 2 steam counters on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just making sure that the hyperdrivers and the resources from turn to turn will stick around. And, of course, creating another hyperdriver off of the supercell. Just a great card that was added in MST for Maxx and Mechanologists. But we are just seeing a simple E-strike from Dylan as a response. And that's coming in for 7. So a nice little 7 response. Bit of vanilla damage. Still maintaining a good life lead. So happy just to throw a damage play in here against Maxx. Maxx just going to be blocking for 3 and taking 4, going down to 30. So 9 life differential between these 2 players right now. Arakni had some sick interactions with those shreds early on this game to just leak some damage through. But we are going to see Maxx start to gas things up here as we banish a Teklo Pounder to the boost of Zipper Hit, ticking down all of the hyperdrivers to gain some serious resource on the back end. And this is coming in for 5 with Go Again. 5 with Go Again and 5 floating. It's a new YouTube channel starting soon, I believe. But yeah, clean block from Codex and an Eradicate. And then we are coming in with a T-Bone, which is going to be coming in for 3 with Go Again. Obviously, this has to be defended by an equipment piece. It's always a good little interactive card that the Mechanologists have access to them. Just forcing the equipment from the player's hand when they might not necessarily want to block. But luckily for Arakni, if you can get those silvers going, you can buy those cards back anyway. Which is a really, really cool interaction. But we're just going to close this chain with a Maxx activation. With the 5 floating resources going down to 3, creating another hyperdriver. With 2 steam counters, and then the rest of those insane resources fizzle away into nothingness, into the aether. And it's over to Dylan's turn, who did an effective blocking turn that turn, but then just going to come in with a surgical extraction with an Arakni trigger. So the Arakni is going to reveal a Cerebellum Processor, which is a blue, isn't it? But he's decided to put it to the bottom. Interesting. So that's the choices that you have as an Arakni player, right? You can try and force through the on-hit of the thing on the top that you're looking to banish, or you can be like, okay, I don't want my opponent having access to that right now, I'm going to put it to the bottom of the deck. And that plays some serious mind games with your opponents, especially if you, as Maxx, you're looking for certain things to get to put some gas into your deck, and you're like, oh, well, maybe Dylan put that to the bottom of my deck earlier with the Arakni trigger, and all that sort of mind games comes in, and that's what Assassin's great at. And albeit this Arakni, that's a clean block there from Dave, by the way, to block the surgical. This Arakni hasn't had too much love in the CC metagame, right? You know, if things shape up, the decks get in the hands of these pro players, and suddenly we know what the best deck is most of the time. But it's nice to see the original Arakni doing some really, really cool things against a myriad of different heroes here on the League That Means Nothing. But we are seeing the hyperdriver be played and cranked into a Teklo Pounder, so Dave just taking a turn to set up for some serious crackbacks here, but we still have quite a big life lead. 9 life differential here between the 2 heroes. And it doesn't look like Dave's going to come in with any attacks this turn. It looks like a purely set-up turn, yep, and it's over to Dylan again to lead with more attacks, with Annihilate the Armed. So this is coming in for 5. And we are revealing a non-attack action, which is going to be put to the bottom. The Gas Up Red is going to be put to the bottom. And Annihilate the Armed coming in for 5. It's no joke. 5 is no joke. Obviously, the banish of the on-hit is relevant, because we are still trying to look to find and banish those nitro mechanoids. I mean, Dave still does have some tech with the super sales to obviously put the nitro mechanoids back into the deck, of course. That is a bit of a counterplay there to a certain degree, a bit of a safety net. Because obviously, as a mechanologist, you can boost away your construct nitro mechanoids as well. That's the reason why Supercell was brought into play. But we are going to see a Madcap Edition and a Black Tech Whisperers cracked on this turn. Looks like Dave is not blocking with any cards. So this is going to get go again if it hits, and it's going to mill 2 cards, which is going to be a Crankshaft and a Crankshaft. So both of those Crankshafts go to the Banish Zone. And Dylan's going to get a load of silvers, because obviously they are attack action cards, those Crankshafts. So now Dylan's sitting pretty on 3 silvers, which means he is going to be able to buy back some of that equipment that he just threw under the bus there. And now using the Tunic trigger to come in with another Annihilate the Armed. Wow, okay. Another red gas up. Sorry, outpace. Red outpace on top. Gas up and outpace look the same from this sort of angle. Red outpace on top. This is going to trigger the Annihilate the Armed as well. Again. Twice, if it hits, because we do have another Annihilate the Armed behind it. So this is a double contract on hit right now, which is pretty insane. So if this hits, it's actually going to mill 2 cards. No, sorry, it's not going to mill 2 cards. It's going to mill 1 card, but then get 2 silver. That's what I mean, sorry. Yeah, it looks like we are taking the damage. And we are milling, and we are getting 2 more silvers off of that as well, which is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, so going up to 5 with the double contract on hit there. That's pretty cool. And now Dylan's going to be able to buy back all of his equipment, I believe. It costs 2 per piece, doesn't it? I think, to buy back the equipment. You're shouting in the comments, "Az, you should know this!" Well, I shouldn't really. I'm not really a commentator caster. I just like having fun with the game. I don't get to see every card or memorize every card. Crankshaft coming in. Sorry, the Crankshaft was boosted, so that's why he's putting a steam counter on the T-Bone. T-Bone coming in for 5. Obviously, the buff is coming from the Teklo Pounder that was established last turn. So 5, go again, must be defended by a piece of equipment. So it looks like the Tunic's going under the bus this time. With the Annihilate the Armed. So we're just going to take 1 off of that transaction. Dylan happy to cash in the Tunic now. Looks like we're probably not going to get any value out of that now. It's probably going to be used to defend. And it looks like we are going to start trying to push damage on Dave now that we've got this 18 life lead. Now is the time to try and preserve a little bit of life here. Dylan coming in with a Crankshaft. Yellow Crankshaft, boosting the Hyperdriver, but because of the X3, that's going to go underneath the X3. Haven't really seen the X3 come into play yet at all. We've seen the triggers happen to it, but we haven't seen the card draw off of it yet in any of these games. But yeah, Dylan going to be happy to block for 3 and take 1 over the top, and we are going to crank this last Hyperdriver. And then we are going to play a Fast and Furious. So this is going to be coming in for 4 with Go Again. Boosting the Max V. We're still going to have 2 resources floating after this. Looks like it's going to have a pistol chain ender by the looks of it. Make use of those resources. Cool, so just happy to block with that all you got. That's not going to trigger, unfortunately, but it's a defensive card nonetheless. Just get it out the hand. And Dylan is still going to have the 1 card in hand, 1 in arsenal to play with here. And we are going to be able to buy back our equipments as well with the silver in play. And Dave is just putting some nice dice, pip-based dice on the field here. And what I like to say to people that are playing in these webcam leagues is use these dice. Use these pip dice. They're so much easier to read in all scenarios. Just the contrast on them is much better. But yeah, we are seeing all the equipment be bought back, and Slay the Scholars coming in 4-4, and Dylan deciding that he wants that card on top at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, it's a lot clearer now with all the pip dice, so cheers for that, Dave. Yeah, that double annihilate the armed contract turn was pretty insane to get that silver back on board, to then buy back the equipment that you used for it. That's some good value there. And Dave just happy to take the 4 damage, boosting away a Fast and Furious. Not boosting away, sorry, banishing a Fast and Furious because of the Arakni on hit. Slay the Scholars on hit, I should say. And now we've got a 20 life lead here between these two players. Dave has definitely set up for some Construct Nitro Mechanoid action here, but we need to see it. We need to see the Construct Nitro Mechanoid, and soon. We are going to see a T-Bone come in, banishing away a Gas Up, so that's going to be coming in for 3 with Go Again. Sorry, 5 with Go Again because of the Tetlo Pounder, and some of these Hyperdrivers are going to tick down and disappear. So we've still got some Hyperdrivers on the back end here. Not sure if we're going to get to Nitro Mechanoid this game. And Dylan just happy to throw in some block here on the equipment. And an Enlightened Strikes, that's going to take 1 over the top of that. Dylan only having lost 5 life this entire game. It's a good assessment of everything happening so far. 6 floating! Another new YouTube channel coming out soon. And here we go. Here is a Gas Up, which was Carolina's spoiler card. She did a fantastic job of that cosplay. That was awesome. And next attack's going to get 4+4 damage. And Hyperdriver into the arena from the Banished Zone as well. Not sure if we've done that. But Throttle is coming in for 10. It's quite a lot of damage. Blocking with a Surgical and a Mask for 4. Looks like we are going to be taking 6 after this. Yep. And I'm following up with a Zipper hit for 5. So quite a lot of damage coming in here, but the life lead here is just too much. So Dylan's just happy to take that chain ender there. We are going to see it. Sorry, not a chain ender, the last attack. And then we are going to see the chain end with Maxx activation, of course. Still looking for that Construct Nitro Mechanoid. And Dylan, again, happy to respond with a 3-card hand. 1 in Arsenal. Well, 3 cards in total, I should say. Including the Arsenal. And it is going to be at Bonds of Agony. Alright, so this is active from the off because of the equipment that we have in play. So Mask, Black Tech, and Flick Knives can all turn this on immediately. So this is going to be coming in for 4, essentially. But we've got a card in hand and a card in Arsenal here, which also signifies to me that there's some nastiness behind this as well, even still. So we are going to see a block for 4. Just a nick. Oh, no. Just a nick again. Oh, my goodness me. And a Mask. Why not? Why not? Okay, then. So that's coming in for a lot of damage. This gets +3 off its own effect. +5. +5. 4. Wow. 14 damage. And Dave is only blocking for 4. Yeah, we are going to... Oh, no. We found the Construct Nitro Mechanoid as well. No. Oh, no. No. Oh, dear. What a time to have that. Banishing the Construct Nitro Mechanoids. Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Dave. Wow. Okay. So, we banished all of the nitro mechanoids from Dave's deck. That is absolutely savage. Dave took 10 off of that transaction and then lost his entire combo potential for his mech suit. That is a devastating turn there. Wow. Okay. So Max just has to try and boost away here and try and get damage back, but this is a big, big lead to try and make up now, with Dylan happy to play a slower game and just meticulously block and prevent damage here. So we are going to be taking 1 off of that transaction with the Sink Below and the Bonds of Agony. Bonds of Agony happy to go in the bin now after getting rid of all those cards there. That is absolutely savage. I think we missed... Did we miss the Just a Nick banish as well? Because we banished the stuff from hand with the bombs, but did we miss the Just a Nick banish as well off the top? I think we might have done. Leave a comment in the section below. I think we missed that. But there we go. Never mind. Now Dylan's just going to come in with a Leave No Witnesses with the Arakni trigger. This is just threatening damage right now. Gas up, can leave it on top because it's looking for red cards. This is coming in for 4. And Dylan just be happy to just throw anything at Dave at this point. Dave's deck is looking a little bit on the thin side there, as the Banished Zone and the Graveyard sort of look like they're on the same level as it. The Graveyard looks very, very big compared to the deck and the Banished Zone, but the Banished Zone looks like it's the same level as the deck. So it could be one of those games. But an Arakni and Assassin can just play this card-for-card trading game really, really well, though. So if it does get into that situation, Dave is in trouble. And obviously, mechs, as a class, love to burn through their deck as well, so they can do their thing. So we are going to boost. Off of the Big Bertha. Or are we not? No, probably not. Doesn't look like it, does it? No. I was going to say, that probably doesn't make any sense to boost now. But yeah, Dylan's just going to block 3, take 1. And now Dylan's got 4 cards to respond with. This deck's just, Dave's just doing a quick deck check. Looks like he's got 10 or 12 cards there. The Spider's Bite is coming in for 1. This is another thing that Arakni does have, of course, is dual daggers. We are going to see some additions to these Arakni decks. If we do see Arakni Huntsman still get play, there's probably going to be some serious upgrades to that deck. So it'll be interesting to see if this original Arakni still sees some play here. But that is a fantastic little turn there. Just dagger, dagger, CNC. That's great. I love to see it. Now, CNC is just threatening 6 damage, obviously with evasion, obviously because of the D-Reacts can't be played to it, but that is still a pretty nice turn this late in the game. Just dagger, dagger, CNC. Lovely old job. Pitching the 2 blues there to do so. 2/2/2, yeah. Flick Knives is just being discussed here by the looks of it. I can't actually hear the audio. I turn the audio off when I do these things. But yeah, that's being fully blocked. And again, just happy to buy those cards at this point. We are just going to see a pistol come in for 2, but that's just going to be sunk. Dylan is just happy to play the I've got better trades than you now in this late game. As Max is nearly out of gas, we are going to see the weapons come in to just threaten the life total. Dave just happy to take that, and obviously his attack action cards blocked for one less, and now the scale peeler coming in. We are just going to be stabbing Dave to death here at the very end, and now comes a persuasive prognosis coming in for 1. Obviously, this is again another card that cares about just getting rid of your cards, getting rid of your deck, getting rid of your tools that you have left to try and win in this battle. I forgot how good that art is on Persuasive Prognosis. Completely forgot how good that art is. Mario does not miss, does he? Awesome card. MST still one of the best looking sets out there. Because of the theme and the flavour behind it, I think it's just, yeah, I think it's definitely one of the best sets out there. In regards to the art is fantastic in that set. But yeah, she's just coming in for 1. But Dave is going to be overblocking. But we are going to be flicking the scale peeler at Dave, just for an additional bit of damage there. And now I think we probably just... Do we just die to afflict knives now? I think we do, don't we? We haven't got any damage prevention, I don't think. He's not running any dissipation shields or whatever those mech shields are that prevent damage. So I think we just throw the spider's bite and Dave dies now, I think. So already dead, coming in for 6. Block. But now we're just going to use the flick knives to chuck the spider's bite at Dave, and that is the game. Wow. That was a pretty sick game. I always love watching these stranger heroes have these matchups, like Arakni and Maxx. You know, Arakni Huntsman and Maxx Nitro. Not something you really watch that often, right? And Arakni seemed to have a lot of game into that game plan. Having that huge Justinic turn, I think we missed those banishes on the Justinics though. But hey ho, that was absolutely ridiculous. Getting rid of those Construct Nitro Mechanoids. That was just the time to have that. And yeah, just great play from both players. Dave was just building up his hyperdrivers to try and get that end game rolling, but unfortunately, Arakni was managed to snuff out that plan and assassinate the mechanologist. But thanks everybody for joining in. Thanks for bearing with me on commentary as well as we crack through round 3. Wish Ian all the best. He'll be back soon to do it all over again here on The League That Means Nothing. But in the meantime, make sure you like, subscribe, check out the Patreon if you want to help support this initiative. This league that means absolutely nothing, that potentially means something now. If you want to help that carry on, then please consider looking at that. But we'll see you all over again soon. Cheers, folks. Goodbye.